For the first time, I'm heading back to a wild camp spot I've used before, on the slopes of Leitrim Ireland in Leitrim Ireland. But this time I'm taking a different route. We'll pass a disused coal mine, so I thought may as well take a closer look. I'll show how I navigate open bogland using a map, compass and timings. In this isolated area with no marked path, I need to check my progress early, ask myself, is the going easier or harder than expected? Am I walking faster or slower than planned? Then I adjust. No plan survives first contact, as the saying goes. I also made a few mistakes, sleeping on the ground being one consequence. I'll definitely use a checklist next time. So we're at the start of another wild camp. This morning I'm at the base of Bencroy mountain in Leitrim. Now I've not been up here before. I'm told that there is some mine workings still to be seen. I'll be doing my usual map and compass navigation. It's a simple route up to the top. When we get to the top, I'll be taking my first bearing and heading off in a westerly direction, 260. It's a pretty steep climb straight away. I'm sure I'll be puffing and panting very soon. Got a pretty heavy load here again today, but I've taken less water. Today I'm hoping to be camping at a spot that I'd camped previously, and I know there's a brook there. Assuming we get there, I'll be sorted water-wise. Today I've got my new DJI mic, and it's just there, and receiver set up to my GoPro Hero 10, and the receiver's connected using the media mod. So I'm just getting the swing of this, getting the legs working, so I'll be puffing and panting for a few minutes, I'm sure. And I am hoping that the audio is going to be much improved. The last video I did, the wind noise was something shocking, and it spoilt it really. So I decided to invest in a DJI mic, and I'm hoping it was worth the money. We'll see when I come to editing it. So there are some mine workings up here. I think I do want to take the other path, but we'll go and take a look up here first. That's where I came, and then we'll head up the mountain. Wow, it's lovely and clear over there. So the idea will be we'll get to the top of Bencroy, which is somewhere up there, and we'll be heading down the valley, going in that sort of direction, down there, and then up to the top there, along the ridge, and further down. We can see Leitrim Ireland in the far distance, and Knockacullion is the promontory sticking out in the middle. Below Knockacullion there's a loch down there that's been seeded with a rare species of trout. Apparently they're pretty hard to catch, but I'm not into fishing, so I don't know too much more about that. Well, this isn't a natural part of the mountain. It looks like old spill or waste from the diggings. I'm not too sure whether it was an open mine or a closed mine, to be quite honest. We'll have a look around here, see if there's anything of interest. We see some excavations here. I wonder if this is a filled-in entrance. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, here we go. So the front entrance is filled into the mine, which makes total sense. There's a sled pulling the coal out. Looks like it's seen a lot of action. There's some wooden posts there, props. I could probably crawl it further, but you know what? I think I'll urge caution and not bother. I know one thing, I wouldn't have liked to have worked down here in the day. It must have been tough. Time to crack on, get up to the top of Bencroy, and then head over to the ridge just below Knockacullion to the wild camp area that I'd found a number of weeks ago. Started off today with my sealskin gloves on. Really finding these very useful. They're totally waterproof and they slip on and off very easily. So far, well worth the purchase. I'd recommend them. Well, that was quite an interesting diversion. I've been meaning to come up here for quite a while now, since I realised there was a mine. Of course, not as dramatic as I was maybe expecting, but it was interesting all the same. Now we're just heading up this slag pile here to the top of Bencroy, and then we'll be getting on with the hike in earnest. The view's opening up nicely. So how's the DJI doing? To be fair, there isn't any real wind here at the moment. Oh, but what a lovely day to be out. Whatever the weather, it's going to be good one way or another. As in the bad weather, practicing the map and compass navigation is brilliant. It's very satisfying. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm not an instructor. So if you're interested in proper map and compass navigation, then pick up courses, loads of them around. But what I'll be showing you is my successes and on occasion failures, practicing in the good weather, where you know that if things go wrong, you can correct it, because it then starts giving you confidence to trust the map, to particularly trust the compass, because there will be times that you think, no, this doesn't feel right. My body is telling me to go in one direction, and then you look at the compass and it says another. And if you second guess it, that's when you get into trouble. You've really got to trust that compass. As long as you got your planning right in the first place, that is. When I'm coming up to the trig point, it's not the highest point on Bencroy. The highest point is just over there. But trig points are positioned where they can see two other trig points. So whereas majority of the time they will be on the highest point on the mountain, sometimes they're not, because something is blocking the line of sight view. It doesn't look like a trig point, but it is the area that I'm aiming for, so I think it'll be worthwhile starting from here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. This is the area I wanted anyway. Well, here's one of my mistakes. I was trying to put my map into a different location tucked under my arm. I thought it was secure, but the trouble is I couldn't see it as well. And I've dropped it. So I'm going to have to head back until I find it. Damn. Oh well, let's hope it's not too far away. Well, thank God for that. Good job the wind wasn't blowing any harder. That could have been miles away. Major lesson learnt. That. So I hadn't gone too far really, but no one wants to backtrack. The map is oriented north, so the main grid lines here are pointing south and top of the map north. I've come down from Bencroy, which is here, and I'll take my compass out of the way in a second, and I'm heading in this direction, 260 degrees, and I'm heading for this flat area on that ridge. There's the ridge falling off gently to the right. In the middle here, we can see that the land falls off to the left and actually flattens for a while, and then it falls off to the right. So let's take a look at the plan. Bencroy, 518 metres. Now we were just come down a little bit from the top there because I lost the map, so I didn't want to climb right back up there. So we're at roughly about this point here. We'll be heading down to the saddle. The land's falling away, as I said, to the left and to the right, and then we'll be climbing up. In this area here, there's a little bit of a lock there that I'm going to be aiming for. So overall, from this point to that point, it's 260 degrees. I measured it on the map using my compass at 2,500 metres. Now 2,500 metres gives us 50 minutes walking at 3 kilometres an hour. Here's my ready reckoner. You can calculate it each time, but it's much easier, especially when the weather's bad. You need as little stress as possible. I've got it set out 5 kilometres, 4 kilometres, 3 kilometres. And for the distance on the left, I've got the various timings there. For 2,500, it's 1,000 metres, double that up, 40 minutes, and at 500, another 10 minutes, 50 minutes. Contours are 7 going up. From the saddle and heading up the hill, there's 70 metres difference. Okay, 7 contours heading up. Looks more from here, but it isn't. It's roughly a minute per contour is the rule of thumb. Normally you don't tend to add time going down a hill, but as we can see, it's really rough, and I know from experience it's going to take another few minutes. So I've added 3 more minutes, so it's about 60 minutes overall. But that's a long way to be going, especially if the clag was down, without taking a marker. Now the obvious halfway point is going to be in the saddle, around about that lock area. So that's still 260, but instead of 2,500, it's 1,250. So that equates to 25 minutes. I'm going to keep the 3 minutes going down, so 28 minutes. I'm going to take a layer off, be bold, start cold, because I know I'm going to work up a bit of a sweat, and start my stopwatch. Now in this weather it wouldn't be any problem at all. We can see exactly where we're going. But you can well imagine in this sort of environment, very often you can't see your hand in front of your face. And this is where you get the practice in for those really bad days. Right, 28 minutes, let's see how we go. It's still a nice day, but on a sunny day, this must be gorgeous around here. Well, it still is. But I have come down from Knockacullion on a previous walk, over from Leitrim Ireland in the distance, and then down the side of the mountain, and then round, and then straight up. Then you can pick up the trail, which will take you back down to the car park. I mean, that's a really nice walk, but like this, it's all heathery and boggy, and no tracks at all, so you have to be comfortable with that sort of terrain. If you're just looking for tracked walks, there is a lot of them. There's a lot of ways marked nowadays, tourist ways, which is great. Personally, I like to get out into the wild and challenge myself a little bit. We're just coming to the water area here, and I'll check my timing. I was going actually faster there than I thought coming down. I reckon I was going more at 4 kilometres an hour, so I'm expecting that to have been a bit quicker. There's a little bit more distance to go to the midpoint in this saddle, so I'll go for another few minutes. I'm just showing that as 18 minutes, whereas 28 was the initial one, but I was a few minutes down from the top, and actually I reckon I'm going at about 4 kilometres an hour. So let's do the calculations if it was 4 kilometres an hour. It's buried in a 260, 1250 metres, 4 kilometres an hour. So 4 kilometres, 1,000 is 15, 200 is 3, 15, 16, 17, 18, plus another 50, about 19 minutes. So that would make sense. I'm really showing that I'm walking at 4 kilometres an hour, which is fine because we're just starting off on the walk. So my original plan was based on 3. I'm actually finding on the ground I'm doing 4, and so I'll change it for the rest. So 1250 metres at 4 kilometres an hour, just to go over that one, is 15 plus 200, 18 plus 1, 9, 19 minutes. But we do have 7 contours going up, so we'll be looking at 26 minutes. So I'm just starting to rise now, and if you remember, what I said was the contours get closer together and it's going to be steeper for a while, and then it's going to flatten out once we get above. So I've come from that direction, land was flat, and now we can see it's rising. Just keeping in mind what the map is telling me all the time, and just practicing feature recognition. And I'll know if I go too far, because I'll get to the top of the ridge, I'll go over and I'll start going down. That would be what they call a catching feature.
I need you. I could have... I was talking about a catching feature. How appropriate. I could have done with a catching feature just then. I was trying to talk, hold the GoPro and chew gum at the same time. Just can't do it. Oh well, I'll shut up now and keep going. .260 is in that direction, and I can see there's a little bit of a hump that I can aim for. Another 10 minutes and it's looking about right. Right, so that's me at the 26-minute point. If I look to my left, that's going up towards Knockcullion. I'm heading in that direction at the moment, 260. And to my right, it's flat land, but it is falling off to the right and also to the left. So I need to change bearing now. My previous plan, I'd said once I get to this point, I changed to 234 degrees and it's 500 meters, and I said that would be 10 minutes at 3 kilometers an hour. But now I reckon I'm doing 4 kilometers. So 4 kilometers an hour at 500 meters, that's 7.5 minutes. So 7 to 8 minutes and I should be there. Set my compass now for 234 degrees. I put the needle, magnetic needle, into the dock, bring the compass up gently, and I can see that I'm just going to be heading for the little lump there just on my near horizon. Yes, I'm hoping when I get over this ridge, the area I camped last time with a lovely babbling brook next to it is going to be obvious, but it may not be. It was only a small area, and from up here it might be hard to see, I don't know, but I will soon find out. I'm a little bit higher up than I was expecting. When I turned on that last leg, I probably turned about 2 minutes too early, because instead of coming over here, which I was expecting, I came over just at the end of those rocks. I got to roughly there in about 8 minutes. I knew I needed to be further down, so the idea was just to come down by a couple of minutes, and hopefully I'll find the spot I'm looking for. And this is looking like it. Yeah, so this was quite hard to see when I was coming down from the area behind me. From a dead reckoning point of view, it was a mistake. I had to do a little bit of a box search to find this. So happy days, I'm here now anyway. Got where I wanted to go. Wasn't that far off timing wise. It wasn't the last leg that was the problem, it was the second leg. I should have carried it on for another couple of minutes. Just a quick look around the tent. It's the Wild Country Helm 2. Great little tent. I must admit though, last week when I was out, the wind was howling and it was getting in underneath, and there was quite a bit of a draft. It's not a full season tent. It's a very good 3 season plus tent. A bit of a disaster here tonight. Unpacking my gear, and what do I find? Well, what do I not find? It's my Big Agnes Rapide Nice 4.2R sleeping pad. Oh my god, and it's really too late to be heading back. I'd have the energy, but I don't have the light. It probably wouldn't be safe. It's a couple of hours back anyway, so I don't want to be going in the dark. But I do have, luckily enough, a silver foam mat that I got to enhance my Rapide experience. Oh dear, what an idiot. Well, that's one thing that I will never forget again. So the night isn't too bad. It's not freezing at the moment. I have no choice, I've got to get on with this. I'm a little bit worried that I haven't got enough gas as well, because I was trying to get a cylinder there yesterday and I couldn't get one. But I hope I've got enough to have my lovely ribeye steak. That'll be just the top in here now, if the gas ran out and I'm just down to a sandwich and cold water. Well, at least I'm sorted out in the tent now, even if I haven't got a nice sleeping mat to lie on. Not too bad. Thank God I did bring I bought only 2 weeks ago the foam mat from Decathlon. I thought I'd get a little bit of extra heat from that for the winter. I'm about to start my gas stove and cook a nice steak. At least I hope I am, because the gas canister is a little bit low, and as I said there earlier, I wasn't able to refill it. But I do have dry food if I have to resort to that. But after the debacle of forgetting my sleeping pad, I'm really hoping that this is going to be a success. So I don't have a stand for my phone. I forgot that as well. This is turning out to be a great camp, but I'm happy anyway. But I'll start this off, get halfway through, and maybe do a little bit of filming. I'll have a nice looking steak. Pan's just heating up. Let's hope it keeps going. And I have a few peppers and courgettes. Well, the smell of this steak is fantastic. For some reason, food tastes better out in the wild. Wonder if you've noticed that yourselves. I was just checking my phone there, and I just went into YouTube Studio. I just noticed my last video, wild camping where no one goes, has just broke the 3,000 view marker there. So I'm really chuffed about that. All my other ones have been quite low views. I'm really pleased. So for everyone who's watching this and has watched that one, thank you very much. It's just encouraging. You work hard at this. I enjoy going out anyway, so I'd do it either, and put the effort into doing a little bit of a video. It just adds to it as well. So it's nice to see that other people are looking at it and hopefully enjoying it. Some nice comments, but yeah, there's a few odd ones. You always get a few odd comments, so I take no notice of those. But yeah, that's great news. And even better news is steak is not far off being done. All it needs now is a little bit of salt, courtesy of McDonald's. Thank you, Ronald. Oh, perfect. I bought a fire maple frying pan. Really excellent. It's done a great job. Lovely and light. Well, I can honestly say, apart from last week's steak, that was the best steak I've ever had in my life. Fantastic. Makes up for... What does it make up for not having a sleeping pad? I don't know. We'll find out later. Finish off that steak with a lovely jam sandwich. Who'd have thought a jam sandwich would be a treat? Well, it is out here, that's for sure. Well, if I've got enough gas left, I'll be able to boil up this water and fit it into this bottle here. I've done it before, did it last time, and made a lovely hot water bottle. Put it into my dry bag, Seat of Summit dry bag, just in case it did leak during the night, and it didn't, and it stayed warm for hours. I really couldn't believe it. So it made a fantastic difference. It goes some way to compensate for having no sleeping pad tonight. I'm not expecting to get a load of sleep tonight, to be quite honest. It's been many years since I slept on the floor, and I think the last time I did, I was well and truly drunk. Last check of the tent, yeah, all solid, not too windy, so it stays that way. Just about 7 o'clock now, and I can see it's starting to get bright. I'll get myself a cup of tea and take a look at what it's like outside. I lost my beanie in the tent this morning. I can lose anything in the tent. It's so small, but I just could not find it. Looked around and around, and then I pulled my hood up on my jacket, and there it was inside it. I've got my wind slayer back on now because it was raining there earlier. It's dried off now, so I probably could have the DJI, but I want to actually see whether the files that I record on the transmitter I can actually sync up okay, and if not, at least I've got the sound going to the wind slayer. But just take a little quick look around. So that's where I was, and it was a lovely little spot, and it's all clear. So I'm going to be heading off back on the reciprocal route, near enough. I'm going to head up towards Knockacullion. Knockacullion would be to the right there, up to that small saddle, and I'll pick a bearing up of 80 degrees. That's reciprocal of the 260 that I came across. So the final dog leg I did yesterday, I don't think I actually need to do that. I'll try and get back a straighter route. So that night could have been a lot worse than it was. It was coolish, but it wasn't too bad. I suppose the hardest part was I didn't have my nice, comfy, big Agnes repeat. It didn't drop below 0 degrees last night. I was lucky. At one stage there was a full moon and it was getting really quite cold. But in the middle of the night, I warmed the hot water bottle up again. And in the morning, I had a big mug of soup out of the water that I'd boiled up twice and used as a hot water bottle. So it was really useful. We'll start that one again. Well, it's actually bitter. My hands are freezing, so I'm going to change out to my mitts. These mitts are actually great. Sealskin mitts. I've got the sealskin gloves, but my hands aren't warming up fast enough. Reminded me of my RAF days. Most interesting place was the Falklands. Just back at Bencroy. Here's the spill from the mines, and I came up somewhere around here yesterday. Learned a few things. 1, don't drop your map. 2, always remember your sleeping pad. And 3, make sure you bring enough gas so you're not worried about it. But yeah, it was a great hike, really enjoyed it. So until the next one.